So, classmates, let us pray. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Praised be Jesus and Mary.
now and forever.
Now and forever.
Amen. Okay, so may hapon sa tanan. No, sorry, it took me a while before nag-start. No, I just wanted to let everyone come into the class before starting so that hindi ta magbalik-balik sa ato ang ingon. Okay, so welcome to another session for our class. This afternoon will be another topic. So far, sa ato ang previous discussions, nakaduha na ta ka task, no? So, nag-identify ta before og several tasks that VA would normally work on. So far, we have had discussions on data entry, and then last meeting, naghisgot ta about email management. So, karong hapon, another task that we can expect a virtual assistant would be working on. Though, moingon ako daan, kanina task medyo layo-layo sa tuwa because dili ni nato forte, and by that, ako ang pasabot, it will take a while siguro, or it will take much effort sa to ang end to master this task of a VA. But I still included this one para lang makita ninyo and ma-appreciate ninyo nga nag-exist po gihapon ni siya nga task among VAs. And sooner or later, if you become one of those virtual assistants, aspiring virtual assistants, na a good chance nga you will be given the same task, especially no kung ang imuhang kliyente sees you as someone who is marabag an overall go-to person. So you know how to do things, okay? And you know how to do a lot of things. So unsa nitong ginaisgutan na ani kinalaman sa marketing. So pag may marketing, this is something that we don't normally deal with, no? Kanang dili siya kaparte sa ato ang murag day-to-day life. Though some of you, especially katong mga nagapaningkamot og diskarte, karon labaw sa tanan nga we are being challenged by the pandemic, perhaps one or two you do or you get yourselves involved in activities that would require marketing. Pero dili gid na nato siya murag og sa kuan pa og sa binisaya pa dili nato na kinaon. Okay? But nevertheless, it's still noteworthy to tackle it as part of the many possible tasks a VA can be given. Okay? So that will be the focus of our discussion this afternoon. Now, pag moingon tag marketing, what comes to your mind when you hear the term marketing? Mr. Sulian, are you there?
Hello, sir. Pero pangutan ako ganito, sir.
Unsa may mosulod sa imong hunahuna og makadungog ka sa term or makabati ka sa term nga marketing?
Ay, marketing ka nang mag-promote og product.
Mag-promote og product. Basically, that's what comes into your mind. Sige, thank you for that, Mr. Sulian. Mr. Montaner, are you there?
Hello, sir. Tunggan, sir.
Yes, may hapon. Ikaw, kung ikaw ang pangutanon, Mr. Sulian said earlier, it has something to do with promoting a product. Kung ikaw ang makadungog sa term na marketing, what comes to your mind?
One, sir. Advertising.
Advertising.
Sa promoting og sell.
Okay, basically, related gihapon sa pag-promote og something, no? So the term used was advertising. Sige, thank you for that, Mr. Montaner. Mr. Palma, are you there?
Yes, sir.
O may hapon, ikaw, unsa may imuhang mahuna-hunaan ug makadungog ka sa term na marketing?
Kanang ano sir, mag-sell og product.
Mag-sell og product. Alright,
Yes,
sige. So, enough of those answers, no? Okay, so far, tanan ninyo gipanghatag are very wonderful answers. All of those basically describes what marketing really is, no? So, pag may kag marketing, basically, this refers to the effort of selling or promoting or advertising a product or services. So, dili lang pod limited sa product, though usually gyud makita nato no nga ang term na marketing ma-associate gyud siya sa products, but it's not limited to just product alone. It also includes services. Okay? So pag may tawag marketing, nailain-lain pa maagi. Okay? Kita as an individual, kita as a group of individuals, kita as part of an organization or a business enterprise, nato lain-laing pamaagi, or we call that as strategy, no? 'Di ba? Like for example, tagaan ta mog task. Your task, all of you, your task is basically to sell a concert ticket. Mawala na akong task sa inyo. So of course, you will have to do it. Okay? That being a requirement that for example sa klase. So karon katong time nga buhaton na ninyo ang pagbaligya sa ticket, you will have your different strategies, correct? Dahil lahi man tag-diskarte. So perhaps ang uban sa inyo ha, buhaton mag-come up og murabag some sort of promo nga if you buy, let's say for example, 3 tickets, you'll get the 4th ticket at half price. Okay, na uban sa inyo siguro mo hatag og buy one take one. Na uban sa inyo na muhatag gyud og for free after buying a certain number of tickets. So basically na ay mga strategies. Na puy uban, pwede magunahuna nga if you buy a ticket, I'll be giving you some freebies. Dili necessarily ticket pod. So na items na ipanghatag. But the point is lahi-lahi kag pamaagi and lahi-lahi kag strategy. Now, pag maghisgot tag marketing, same lang pod, no? When you are to promote your product or services, or if you are to sell your product and services, of course, you can actually have plenty of strategies to choose from. And the strategy will always depend on the nature of your product or your services, the type of customers you have, okay? And ikaw mismo sa imong sarili, ikaw nga mo perform sa marketing. That will help decide what kind of strategy will basically work for you and for your business. Okay, so same pod na pag may tag marketing, there are several strategies. So karong hapon, we will be looking into 2 strategies na sa ako ang gimension, medyo layo sa ato ang murabag comfort zone sa kung sa atong naandan, because everything really, the bottom line is makabaligya tag product or service, something that we don't normally do. No, kay most of the time we are concerned more on the technology and the integration of technology among different fields, but not so much on selling something. Okay? So gipili nato ni na strategy sa marketing because somehow maskin pag dili nato linya ang marketing, because of the technology that is being incorporated by these strategies, somehow there's a place for us mga tao in the computing discipline. So unsa man akong ginaistoryahan, allow me to share. Teka, dali lang murag missing ang ako ang hindi na po siya makitaan for a while. Okay, ayun. So, paki-confirm ko if makita ninyo ang screen. I'm just showing you an untitled notepad that has text on it, very simple text. Just to be clarified with everything that I was talking about earlier. No? So, naghisgot nga, for this afternoon, we will be dealing with marketing. But to be more specific, nag-identify tagduha ka strategies. One, we'll do email marketing, and then two, we'll do social media marketing. So, regardless of which strategy we will be focusing on, pareho rin ni sila goal in mind. Okay? Nga, ma-advertise ni mo imuhang product or services, and then hopefully you end up having a customer purchasing or buying these products and services of yours. Okay? So good daw with email marketing. So, pag maingon taog email marketing, to put simply, email marketing as defined by Cambridge University Dictionary, email marketing is simply about using email, that's the platform that you use, to advertise and sell products and services. So technically, more good same tumong ni marketing as the root word, no? To advertise and sell products. Only that, this time around, gina-highlight ang paggamit of email as the primary tool. Okay? So, it is a powerful marketing channel, a form of direct marketing as well as digital marketing. This is defined by MailChimp. So, unsa man na si MailChimp? MailChimp is one of the few known companies that actually focuses on marketing automation. Okay, so if you try to search for tools available for businesses to use, especially in doing marketing, email marketing, si MailChimp isa sa mga ma-encounter ninyo. Okay, so according to the website of MailChimp, by the way, ang spelling ana is mail na as in email, and then chimp as in short for chimpanzee. So CHIMP, MailChimp. So according to the website of MailChimp, si email marketing daw uses email to promote your business's products or services. Very similar to how Cambridge defined the term, no? So it can help make your customers aware of your latest items or offers by integrating it into your marketing automation efforts. Okay? It can also play a pivotal role in your marketing strategy with lead generation, brand awareness, building relationships, or keeping customers engaged between purchases through different types of marketing email. So technically, kung ato ang subayon gyud ang concept ni email marketing, very simple, very easy to grasp. You do marketing using email. Okay? Sayon na siya paminawan, di ba? Pero there's actually technicalities behind. Okay? So, natay daghang mga kinahanglan masabtan ug mahibal-an as to unsaon man effectively maka-perform og email marketing. Okay? So, let me share with you a video. So, I found this video, and then I believe this is a very wonderful material which will help us understand further and appreciate email marketing as one of the possible marketing strategy for businesses. Okay, so usabon lang ako akong presentation because I'm currently showing you that notepad. Okay, will you please confirm, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So I'll play this initially and then please do confirm if okay sa inyo diha ang
Are we
audio.
really just gonna sit here and pretend?
Okay. Are you hearing the audio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. So for the rest of the 8 minutes, I would want you to focus first on the video and then atuan na lang ipadayon atong discussion after that. Okay? So sit back
Are we
and
really just
relax.
gonna sit here and pretend that email marketing isn't one of the most important parts of your business? We are? Oh. Okay. For everyone else, though, the data tells us that there are 4.3 billion, with a B, email users worldwide. With literally more than half of the planet using email, your business can't afford to not have an email marketing strategy. And unlike those social media platforms with their confusing features and constantly changing algorithm and no one liking your posts for whatever reason, email marketing is relatively straightforward. What's up? I'm Jamal from HubSpot. In this video, I'm going to teach you the basics of email marketing, setting you up with a foundation for success that can last for years. If you find this useful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the HubSpot YouTube channel. So, how do you become a master email marketer? Put simply, it's divided into 3 steps. 1, build your list. 2, maintain the health of that list. And 3, email that list with valuable content every time. Let's start by building your list. When building your email list, there's really one rule and one rule only, and that's never buy or rent a list. And actually, there are more rules, but let's just focus on that one for now. Buying or renting an email list can lead to low open rates, bad brand appearance, and even hefty fines from privacy protection agencies. So what should you do to build up a quality email list? Well, here at HubSpot, we built our email list by producing free ebooks that users discovered when searching for topics like introduction to data visualization or how to become an influencer. Maybe you can offer a free trial of your service or an online seminar or other experience. Whatever you offer, it needs to be something valuable enough to convince users to part with their personal email information. In addition to the landing page, most websites will let you place a pop-up to collect email. Set one to appear after the user has spent some time on your site, which indicates that they're receiving value and might be open to more information. And if your business involves online ordering, make sure customers are prompted to opt into your email list when making a purchase. Why is it important that users opt in? Well, having users opt in means they want to hear from you. It also keeps you compliant with the ever stricter anti-spam policies being implemented by governments as well as email services themselves. A double opt-in is even more effective since it requires the user to open and click an automated email they receive when signing up. This not only prevents users from giving fake emails, but it also trains their email app to recognize quality messages from you. And with that, we just thought to spam folder. Way to go. How you go about building your email list will set the stage for future success. But just as important is how you maintain your list. This means periodically scrubbing your email list to remove emails that bounce or addresses that never open your emails. A good rule of thumb is to scrub your list every 6 to 12 months. You might be wondering, what's the harm in emailing people who don't open them, right? Like, why can't I should be able to do that, right? Well, another metric that email algorithms use to determine if something is spam is the engagement ratio. The more you send emails that never get opened, the more likely the email services will eventually categorize your emails as spam. Makes sense? The good news is that despite these increasing obstacles to email deliverability, the overall value of email marketing is actually on the rise. In 2010, Digital Marketing Association put the return on email marketing at $40 for every dollar spent. By 2019, that return increased to $42 for every dollar spent. Why has the ROI gone up? Because I'm opening everyone's emails for them. No, but actually though, a major reason is an increased use of segmentation in email marketing. Segmentation means dividing your email list into smaller groups so you can send each segment content specific to their interests. You can segment your list by demographic data like location, company size, or anything else that's important for your business. But the real email ninjas use what's called behavioral segmentation, which is grouping based on how the user previously interacted with your brand. Things like previous purchases, life cycle stages, and customer loyalty. Creating triggered email flows for specific behaviors allow you to be responsive to your users' needs. So it's no wonder that 77% of email marketing ROI comes from these sorts of segmented, targeted trigger campaigns. It's the best tool for giving your audience the valuable content they'll want to open because they know it's tailored to their interests. And that's inbound, baby. Which brings us to our final step in mastering email marketing. Send valuable emails. The average office worker receives around 120 emails per day. That is many. Out of that 120, 40 are important business emails that require response. That leaves 80 other emails vying for attention. The only way to stand out is by having a super clickbait title for the subject line. That's a real tip. You should do that. No, the only actual way is to stand out by offering something your subscribers want to click on because it somehow improves their lives. Think about a company like OpenTable, who uses subscribers' past behavior to offer useful discounts or recommend new restaurants. Or Spotify, who send regular emails notifying users of new music by artists they follow. These are great examples of valuable emails that subscribers want to receive and are happy to open. One more useful tip. Whenever you're recommending something to your subscriber, be sure to remind them of the activity that triggered the recommendation. That way, they associate the good feeling of the previous experience with the new one you're offering. Now, when it comes to emails, conveying value starts with the subject line. This can mean literally telling the recipient what they'll get from opening the email, and try to do it in 50 characters or less. Use those 50 characters to pique the customer's interest. Don't give everything away up front, like me with Bobby Jenkins in the 4th grade. I gave him my Goku action figure, and then he didn't talk to me anymore after that. Leave a bit of mystery so they'll feel compelled to open the email to know more. Just be sure that whatever you tease in the subject line is actually delivered in the body of the email. No one likes deceptive, clickbaity subject lines. I was kidding before. And 69% of spam reports come from subject lines alone, so watch out. Now, you can also use the pre-header. That is the first few words in the body of your email that get previewed in your inbox to support the subject line. Most email marketing systems will allow you to set the pre-header when you enter the subject line, so you don't have to worry about altering the actual body copy of your email. And always, A/B test your subject line so that each email you send teaches you something for the next one. So all the messages from your email list have been delivered. And thanks to your brilliant subject line and pre-header, good job, folks are itching to read what you sent them. So, what are you going to say? Crafting killer email copy could be its own video. Until that time, here's some tips. Tip number 1, keep text neat and simple with the main point up front. Use short sentences with lots of paragraph breaks. Save those verbose think pieces for your blog. This is an email. Tip number 2, write for your audience. Remember those list segments we made? This is why they're so important. And tip number 3, write in a friendly one-to-one style. This isn't just a good way to treat your customers, it also helps prevent your email from getting tagged as spam. And speaking of spam, HubSpot keeps an extensive list of spam trigger words that you should avoid when writing email copy. There will be a link in the video description below, and if you don't click on it, I'll be sent to the spam folder. You should also run your email through a spam test before sending it to make sure your formatting, punctuation, and fonts all pass through the filters. There are plenty of free spam checkers online you can use. You'd be amazed how a few tiny tweaks can make a huge difference. So when it comes to email marketing, sending valuable content in a compliant format to users who you know want to receive it will allow you to execute successful campaigns for years to come. Happy emailing. I'm off to the spam folder. Which
Okay, so naga-make sense ba ang video o ang content sa video? Okay, so no kung atoag yung gipaminaw og sakto, kung ato ang gisabot ang gi-present ni Jamal sa video, ma-appreciate nato unsa ka dakong tabang ang email marketing for a typical business, especially for a small business. Okay nga, padayon nga naningkamot nga maka-reach og mas daghang customer, okay, or client. Okay, so dito sa video, what are the key points that we will have to remember? Giklaro niya dito nga naay tulo ka steps, no, in order for you to actually master email marketing, or for you to be able to become an effective email marketer. So tulo lang to ka importanteng steps. Of course, number 1, giingon niya nga you have to have a list. Okay, basically dito man magbase kung kasi imong padalaan sa imong mga email. Ikaduha, you should be able to maintain that list. Make sure it's healthy, meaning from time to time you disregard unnecessary email addresses that lies into that list. Okay, so basically you have to trim, you have to prune, and then add something new if possible. And then the last would probably be is for you to actually send the email, no? But for you to be able to send the email, you will have to consider some things. Like for example, una sa tanan, unsay unod sa ako ang email. Diba? Towards the last part of the video, nag-mention siya na understanding or the discussion on what should be written inside the email is another topic that needs to be discussed separately. But naghatag siya tips unsay mga pwedeng i-consider para masiguro nimo ang imuhang content is really what your client or your prospective client would be happy to read and look at, no? So puhon, if ever man push through mo sa inyong pagka virtual assistant, especially if you are given the task of email marketing, katong ability to write good and quality contents, dili na to na siya mag-guarantee nga sa sugod pa lang ingana nakadayon, no? Na ay pipila sa inyo that basically are natural writers, and by that atong pasabot dili lisod sa ilaha ang mo come up og mga content, email contents. So it's easy for them to formulate what should be inside the email. But that's not true to all. Naiuban sa inyo perhaps na dili na ninyo forte, or let's say for example, lisod para sa inyo ang express sa inyong sarili in the best way possible. You have the idea, yes, you have in mind what you wanted to say, but again, you might have that difficulty expressing yourself. So, over the course of time, ma-develop ninyo na siya kung sigihan po ninyo og improve. Meaning, ginapakitaan nyo pamaagi nga ma-practice ninyo, mahon ninyo inyong communication skills. Pero, mas pabor kung as early as now or sa sugod pa lang, confident na ka sa imuhang communication skills, especially written communication skills. Okay, that will really spell a big difference when it comes to writing the best content for your email marketing. Now, pag naanak ka ng content, then you can proceed with sending those emails to your prospect clients or your existing clients. Now, ang question karon, sir, how do we do that in actual? Assuming, sir, na naanami atong list, assuming nga amuan natong na-trim or na-prune ang list, we have disregarded unimportant email addresses, we were able to come up with our content, how do we do it actually? How do we send emails to these people? So, basically, kung unsa to ato ang idea sa pag-send og email on a personal level, kamao naman siguro tatanan mo email, at least in your lifetime, nakasend naman siguro mo masing isa ka email, so you know the drill. Most likely, samang paagi ra gihapon ang ato ang sundon ug mag-send tag email as part of our marketing strategy. The only difference this time is that you are expected to send this same email to multiple people, to several people, and if possible, to do it at once, no? So, if dili ta familiar sa mga options nga naata, we might end up sending this email repeatedly. Kasi itong pasabot, you go to your email service and then you compose your email, and then from time to time, you type your recipient's email address and then send it several times for each of these recipient. So, medyo time-consuming siya. Whereas, kung kabaluta nga naay pamaagi, which we call email blasting, I don't know if unsa mo ka-familiar sa term, but pag intag email blasting, basically, that's equivalent to broadcasting your email. by broadcasting, meaning you get to send the same message across a lot of people. Pero dili siya murag ka ng send to many gani nga. If napansin niyo, 'di ba? Allow me to share my screen para pwede na ko siya ma-demonstrate. I'll share my entire screen. Please do confirm if you are seeing my screen. Currently, I am in our Google Meet page. Okay, sige. So, if I transfer to Gmail, assuming this is our email servicing app or tool, di ba? Normally, this is how you would send an email. You specify your recipient. Usually, you would specify at least one email address, but you are free to specify more than one. You specify a subject that will help your recipient basically have an initial understanding of what the email is all about, the body of the email, and then if necessary, you can actually add attachments to your email. Pag human anitanan, then you get to send that one. Now, sa recipients na na-mention na ko nga, pwedeng isa, pwede po daghan. Kaya lang, ang dating manggod, pagdaghan, when the recipient receives the email, makita niya nga, it was actually sent to several people and not to just that person. Now, okay ra na siya kung normal lang na communication. Like, for example, ang tumong lang nimo is to announce something which can be read by everyone. Let's say, for example, everyone in the team, everyone in the group, everyone in the organization, wala na yung problema. But if you are to do email marketing, you would want it to be a little bit personalized. Nga, ang dating is, ang email na madawat sa isa ka tao, especially if prospect pa lang siya, di pa yun siya client, prospect pa lang siya, maraba ginapanguyaban pa lang nimo, ginapangulitawhan nimo, you would want it to be personal nga. Siya lang. Siya ra ang gi-email, siya lang ang makadawat. So makita niya nga, sa iya ra gi-send ang email. Though in reality, it was actually the same email sent to all other recipients. Okay, so naay pa maagi para mabuhat nato na. Okay, now we can actually settle with the usual tools that we have. Like for example, kani akong ginapakita karon, we have Gmail. If you have other email servicing tool or email servicing apps, pwede ra pod gihapon ka to. Like if you are using MS Outlook, if you are still using Yahoo or any other similar tools, wala na problema. Basta ang point is we are actually talking about email here. Okay, so in my case, if I wanted to stick to Gmail, there's actually a way for me to be able to send the same email to multiple recipients. How do we do that? Then we'll do mail merge. So, ang pangutana, are you familiar with the term? Na-encounter na ba? Mail merge. Okay, Mr. Katakutan, dili familiar. Ms. Pisaw, dili familiar. Mr. Gomera, dili familiar. Mr. Prieto, Ms. Lalis, Mr. Palma, Mr. Montaner, Mr. Gulanes, Mr. Nicolas, Mr. Delgado, Mr. Evangelista, and the name and the list goes on, and I believe every one of you is not familiar with the term. So, ako alang i-type diri ha, para lang makuha ninyo kung saan akong ginaistoryahan. Okay, I was actually talking about mail merge. So, unsay pasabot nato sa mail merge? Gamit niya siya. This is actually a feature, if I'm not mistaken, this is a feature of Microsoft Word. I really cannot recall the exact tool, but yeah, it's a feature of an Office tool. I'm quite certain it's Microsoft Word. Pero sige lang, ako ang i-confirm. I'll get back to you on that. Nga, i-allow ka niya maka-compose o isa ka email, a typical email content. So naay kay receiver, no? You can specify the name of the receiver, their affiliation, asa sila affiliated, ilahang position. Eh, di ba? Normally, nga naman ang atong gina-specify sa email. We want it to be formal. Okay, especially kung ang gigamitan nato sa iya is formal pod na communication. So you specify the name of the receiver, their affiliation, their position, the content of the email, the actual body of the email, and then again, if kinahanglan magbutang og attachments, you put attachments. Okay, now, pag may mail merge, this feature of that particular Office application, kasaalang ka mag-type sa imuhang email, murag buhatan ni mong template, and then you will just have some sort of a placeholder wherein katong list nga naa ka, so you will have to maintain two separate objects. One is your email, katong mismong email na imong ipadala, we are referring to the content of the email. And another one is your list of recipients and their details. So, depende unsay gikinahanglan nimo nga detail didto sa imuhang email content, all of those should also be available in your list. So, murag you can think of that list as a spreadsheet application. So, sa spreadsheet nakalista didto distributed among columns ang email addresses, first name, last name if kinahanglan, and all other necessary details na gamiton nimo sa imuhang email content. So duha ka buok, you have your actual email and then your list of recipients and their details. So unsay mahitabo sa mail merge? After composing that email and after specifying some placeholders, you will just basically link the two, no? Your actual email and your list of recipients and their details. So ang trabaho karon sa mail merge is i-consider niya to tanan tong imuhang list of recipients. So all those email addresses will get to receive the same email, and then for each email address naman to yung mga associated details like the first name, the second, the last name, and all the other details, i-fill into niya dito sa mga placeholders para dili na ka mapugos gani nga you type this particular email, so kay lahi mag-recipient, lahi ang pangalan sa mo receive, lahi iyang affiliation, lahi iyang address. Tapos usahay pa gyud sa sulod sa mismong body sa email napag kay ipang change, like for example kung unsay concern nimo specifically for that person. So kung wala si mail merge, ang sistema sige kag usab. No, pag send mo sa first recipient, i-delete nimo ang pangalan, delete nimo ang affiliation, delete nimo ang address, pulihan nimo bag-o. Then send na pod sa panibagong email address. I-send nimo sa ikaduha, you repeat that process, delete all the variables, pulihan og bag-ong mga values like the name, the affiliation, the address, send balik hangtod sa ma-send nimo tanan. With mail merge dili na ing ana. Mura bag i-automate nimo somehow ang pag-send sa email, i-look up na lang niya tong email addresses as a recipient and then ang mga associated details for each email address. So unya, ipakita nato si mail merge as our way of doing that using Gmail. So ang atong assumption dire, the business that we are actually working on, pwedeng kita ang tag-iya mismo sa business or kita ang virtual assistant nga gitagaan og task to do email marketing. Okay? So, ang atong assumption, ang atong business is micro or a small enterprise. So, dili nga nakadaghan yun ang atong clients or prospect clients na kinahanglan i-reach out. So, dili po din nga nakadaghan ang emails na kailangan nato i-send on a daily basis. So, that being said, pwede ra gyud ta mo settle sa mga usual email servicing tools or apps. Like in our case this afternoon, mo gamit ta og Gmail. Okay? Now, for those businesses that are bigger and needs more reach, meaning mas daghan sila kailangan padalhan, napod sila yung option to actually use mga third-party tools and software nga gihimo dedicated for mass emailing. Katotong ginatawag ganina na email blasting, no? Okay, for sure kung mo kag dinagko na gyud na kumpanya, gamay ra siguro ang 5,000 to 10,000 emails a day Okay, so dili na siya makaya sa kanang mga personal accounts lang, like personal account ni Gmail, kaya na may certain limitation. So that's the time you make use of other third-party tools. Isa na dito tong gimension na to ganina si MailChimp. Okay? Now, for this afternoon's demonstration, Gmail lang usa ato ang gamiton na tool. Okay, so I'll start with, because there are two approaches to this one, no? Mogamit ta og Google Sheets and Gmail. Sa Google Sheets, we will be using add-ons. Another approach is that we make use of an existing Google Sheet file, which was created by someone, and then that file actually contains some scripts which will allow us to do mail merging. So, duha ka lain-laing approach, pero ang ultimate goal is to do the same. Compose a single email and then send that email to multiple recipients. Okay, so I'll start with the first approach. Google Sheet, na kita mismo ang mo populate, and then we'll also do Gmail. Okay, so I'll start here. Now, sa ako ang Gmail, I have already created some draft. Okay, sa draft man usually maadto tong ato ang template. So for example, kini gipanganlan na ako ang draft og sample email. Ang unod sa ako ang email is as simple as, "Hi, this is just a sample email that needs to be sent to multiple recipients for demonstration purposes." Best pangalan sa nag-send. Okay, so I leave it there. And then balikan lang nako na siya later on if mapopulate na nako akong list. Now, remember, isa sa mga importanteng steps, as discussed in the video earlier by Jamal, that you will have to come up with your list. Now, as to how you do that, that will actually depend on you. No? So, murag mahulog ba nga, when you do email marketing, really is up to you how will you be able to create the list that Jamal is talking earlier. So daghang pa maagi, like katong iyang gimension, if you have a website for your product or for your services, pwede siguro mag-allot og isa ka specific page in that website nga pwede maka-sign up ang imuhang prospect client, and when they sign up, they will provide for you their email details. Okay? Or, pwede po, katong gibuhat nato during data entry, we'll do some sort of a brute force or a tinamban approach of acquiring email addresses. So, someone will do searching, like, mangita og mga prospect client, and then, for each of that prospect client, kuhaon nilang details. Then, produce or come up with the list. Okay? Nya, sagi mention po ganina sa video, as much as possible kaya nato ang pag-rent or pagpalit og list, because we do not necessarily know how those lists were generated. So there might be issues in terms of data privacy and so on. So mas maayo nang kita gyud ang nag-come up or kita gyud ang nag-produce sa atong kaugalingong list. Now, for the purpose of our demonstration this afternoon, ato ang tinambanon lang ang pag-come up sa list. Okay? So, unlike the ones I was talking earlier nga, there is a way to do it. Butang ba na nimo sa dedicated page sa imong website, or pwede ba mamalihog ka, give it as a task to your other VAs to do search, and then come up with that list. So, karong hapon, magtinamban lang usa ta. So, I'll be needing some volunteers later on. I'll be asking for your email addresses. Dili necessarily tanan mo, no? So I'll just be asking siguro 5 to 6 email addresses. But in the meantime, moadto sa ta kay Google Sheet. This is something that you are familiar with, so no need to explain the environment. Except that we will have to click on the add-ons in the list of menu, no? So we'll click add-ons. Now, in my case, I have already installed an add-on which will help me perform mail merging. So sa inyong case, sa inyong end din ha, if you are opening now your Google Sheets, clicking add-ons will only show you, I think, these two options, get add-ons and manage add-ons. So what I would ask you to do is click on get add-ons. So it will open for us a pop-up window wherein we can actually search for add-ons. Okay, pwedeng extension, pwedeng app, which you can actually incorporate with your Google Sheets. So, giunsa na to sa pagkakita ng type lang taog mail merge sa ato ang search bar, and then everything gets filtered. So, tanan ninyo makita diri karon, these are all add-ons that will allow you to do mail merging. Okay, so diskarte na po balik ninyo, no? You get to decide. You have the liberty to choose which tool you will be using. But what seems to be obvious here is that number one, I think yet another mail merge appears to have the most users, no? And then the most reviews. So it's not necessarily the highest in terms of rating, but the number of evaluators speaks volume. Daghan ang nag-rate, dili man pud nga nakababa ang iyang rating. So this basically explains that this one here is what we are looking for. Perhaps the best among the group. Okay, so muna akong gipili. So all you have to do is click on this one, and then you will basically be asked to add this to your Google Sheet as an add-on. In my case, naman siya, nakabutang naman siya. So, ang appear dire is uninstall. And I won't be clicking on that. So, sa inyong case, please do click on that. Make sure that the add-on gets installed to your Google Sheets niya. To verify, you go back to your Google Sheets, click on add-ons, and if that add-on was successfully installed, it should now appear into your list of add-ons. Okay, so hangtod diha lang sa. If you are following what I am demonstrating now, at this point, you should see yet another mail merge here. If wala pa, please do it now. Okay, I'll give you time to do it. Okay na? Miss Alemania, Miss Pisau, Mr. Barcena, Mr. Gomera, Mr. Evangelista, pakibutang palihog inyong email addresses sa ato ang chat box. Please use your UIC email. Okay, Mr. Evangelista, Mr. Barcena, and Mr. Gomera, mamalihog ko. Okay, kompleto na ba? Pisau, Alemania, Barcena, Gomera. Na isa missing. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, there's already 5 of them. So just give me time to copy this one and put this in our list. Okay, so I will have to manually copy this one. Butang lang sa nako diya isa-isa. No? And then we have Mr. Barcena. We also have Mr. Gomera. And then Miss Pisau. And lastly, we have Mr. Evangelista. So, kani wala ni dapig-dapig ha. This is for demonstration purposes lang. So katong mga wala na apil ang email ay mo kabala ka dili man ni raffle, wa man sila madaog ani ato ang ginabuhat. Ato ra ning gigamit para ma-demonstrate lang, ha? So relax lang mo din ha. Okay. So natay mga listahan na karon, no? So far, unsa gito atong mga na-achieve na so far sa Gmail, na natay draft this sample email. So just in case you are wondering, giun sa pag-come up sa draft, you click on compose, you type your email, and then let Gmail save it as a draft. That's it. Nga na ka-simple. Now, Sa ato ang Google Sheets, una atong gibuhat, gibutang nato, gi-install nato tong add-ons. We chose yet another mail merge. Okay? And then the next thing we did was to actually populate at least one column with email addresses. So nagabalik-balik yun ang naong ni Camille, no? Okay. Anyway. Nanatay listahan. Nanatay draft. So ang question karon, unsa may sunod natong buhaton. Okay? So, very simple. Since nanatay draft, nakabutang na ta atong add-ons, nanatay list of emails, you just simply have to click on add-ons, click on yet another mail merge, or it could be a different add-ons, depende sa inyong gipili. And we can actually start mail merge. So, muhulat lang tagamay, ang kapaspason ani magdepende sa inyong connectivity and sa inyong machine, no? So lahi ta possibly og kapaspason. Okay. Now, you can actually avail a personal plan if you wanted to increase the number of emails, but in our case, mo limit lang sa ta sa 50 a day. Okay? So 50 recipients. So, nagamit naman ako ang 7 ganina sa ako ang pag-demonstrate sa B, nana lang ko yung 43 nga nahibilin. So, ayaw po di mo ang issue nga 7 kabuk akong gilista sa B niya, 5 lang sa inyo ha. Again, wala na kinalaman sa atong mga buhay-buhay. I'll just click continue. Okay, and then, for the sender name, if this is personal, you can just use your personal name. If you are representing a brand or your company or your product or your services, then you can actually place it here. So for example, kung gikan ko, sa tawag, ako ang representative ni, butang na lang nato, sa may lamig kanon karon. Chowking, lamig kayo mag-chowfan karong orasa. So let's say for example, representative ko ni Chowking. So pwedeng Chowking akong ibutang din ha as my sender name. And for the email template, actually mamili ko dito sa mga draft na ako ang create, no? So makita ninyo of the list na ay sample email. That same sample email nga makita nato dire. Right. So pilion ako to siya. Okay? And then since napili naman ako to, napakoy kinahanglan i-figure out. Before clicking send, tingnan yung 4 emails naman iyang na-detect. Why is that so? No. For a while. It's 1. Four lang yun. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I think I have figured it out. Let me try. Insert one above. Let's repeat that process. Hopefully this addresses that concern. There should be 5 of you who will be receiving the email. Yeah, I think this will work now. Sample email. Yeah, there's 5. If my analysis is correct, the first row is expected to be column headers. So, di ba ganina, before ko nag-add og isa pa ka row sa ibabaw, si Camille, ang iyang email address, naadira nakabutang kay A1, no? So, gitreat to as column header and not as a valid email address. So, that's something you will have to remember. There should be a column header for each column, no? And then the rest of the rows will be treated as actual value. So, karon nahimo nang 5 ka emails dito tungod kay 5 naman kabuk email addresses iyang na-recognize. Alright? So, all you have to do is click send. Depende ang number sa emails na nakalista dire. By the way, before clicking send, nakay option to do a schedule sending of messages. So, naa naman siguro mo idea on sa ginapasabot na to pag-schedule. You will just have to specify a date and time when do you want the email to be sent. And then, send a test para na ay some sort of quality assurance na mahitabo, before sending the actual email, pwedeng you do a test so that you can just simply murabag assess. Sakto na ba ang tanan? If goods na, then you can actually proceed with sending this. Now, atong assumption, okay na ang tanan, then I will have to click send. So, na ay progress bar, no, it will take a little time. Again, depende ang kapaspason ani sa imong connectivity o sa imong machine. Okay, so ningon siya dire, all emails have been sent. So 5 mails sent, you can still send emails to 38 recipients. Mao na to ang limit because we are using just a personal account. Okay, kaabtik ba ni Miss Alemania? No? Pinako nagatanggid siya sa iyang end nga dapat pag abot sa email, maabrihan niya dayon. Okay, anyway, makita ninyo no nga naay monitoring pod. Yes, you are able to actually send. That's one component. Okay, gi-allow ta niya na makasend adtong email, parehong email to several recipients. Okay? But what's nice about using this one, despite the limitations or the number of recipients you can add, there's actually a way for you to monitor what happened to your sent email. Okay? Kung natagad ba or wala. So makita na to no? Here na inadungag na column. So ang status na kabutang email open. So this will basically change depending on what you actually did with that email. So basically opening it refers to checking your inbox, clicking on that particular email, and then reading it, hopefully. So, muna nag-notify na open. If you are to click on something, perhaps mag-notify po ng click. If you actually sent a reply, basically, mo appear na din na you have responded. Okay? So, there's a way for you to monitor your sent email. But that's pretty much it. Okay? Very simple to follow. So, sige daw, before ko mo padayon sa laing option na to, naabay questions with what we just did? Nasundan ba to ninyo? Okay, sige. So far, I think we are still in good shape, no? Let's now go on to our second option. So, sa second option, it's still Google Sheet and Gmail. All right? So, I'll just close this one. Nahanap to siya sa ko ang drive. Let's focus with this one now. So, I'll be sending you this link because I want you to open it in your respective end. When you click that link, you should be seeing this page. Okay? It's actually Google Workspace for developers. Murabag a platform for Google developers. So, kani atong ginatan-aw, this is actually a product of someone, okay, who likes to contribute something for Google. Okay? So, sige daw, let me see na okay na tanan. Were you able to access the link? Makita ba ninyo tong ako ang giabrihan nga page? Okay, importante nga ma-open ninyo siya because the next steps that I'll be demonstrating will actually require that particular page. Okay, so hinahinayon lang nato og subay ang mga musunod na steps. So if you have actually this one, no, you can simply read na siya murag initial, murag some sort of introduction what this is all about. Okay, so this has something to do with creating and distributing visually rich mail merge with Gmail and Google Sheets. Okay, this was updated last February, and thanks to Martin Hoxie, which you can follow on Twitter and check his details on these links. Okay, so ni come up siya ani. This is basically a template using Google Sheet, and ang template actually na ay script. So if you are familiar with scripting, perhaps na mo idea what we are talking about, no? So, murag gitagaan lang niya additional instructions si Google Sheet on how to behave, especially that it will be used for mail merging. Okay, so skip na to ng pa video din ha. Adto ta sa baba, sa specific steps na good. So under try it, natay several steps to follow. Okay? By the way, gusto lang din ako i-highlight, no? Ang tools, primary tools na itong gigamit dire. Okay? We are using Gmail service. That's for the actual sending of the email. And then we make use of spreadsheet app service that's actually referring to Google Sheets. So kana ra duha nga to ang kinahanglan ma-familiarize. And I know all of you are very much familiar with these things. So going back to the steps, adto ta sa step number 1. So giingon dire, create a copy of the sample Google Sheet. So kanitong Google Sheet na atong istoryahan nga na script. If you click on that link, you will be redirected and then you will be asked to make a copy. So just click on make a copy and it should again redirect you to another page containing Google Sheet. So I hope at this point in time pareha tag ginatan-aw ninyo tanan. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a Google Sheet with several column headers and then several values na ay data na gid nga nakabutang. Okay, so if you are seeing these things, then basically we are still on the right track. Okay, you are still following my demonstration. So you can simply think of it as a typical Google Sheet. No? So na rows, na columns. Pero if you pay attention closely, naano siya yung macro, and by macro meaning it allows us to actually interact with the sheet. So makita niyo sa baba, you can actually add more rows. Okay, you can specify the number of rows you wanted to add. If you click add, it will add several rows. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to add 10 more rows, I'll just click add, then my sheet gets populated. 10 more rows were added at the bottom. Okay, so very typical Google Sheet, except nga naani. Basically, this is part of the script that the author added. Okay, and then kung makita po ninyo among the list of menu here on top, naanay additional na mail merge. Ganina, nag-rely ta kay add-ons, no? This time, naanay mail merge na makita. So all you have to do is refer to this mail merge here. Mao na itong gamiton pod unya. Okay, so let's go back to that step. We're done with number 1. Okay. Number 2, ingon siya, update the recipients column with email addresses you would like to use in the mail merge. So very similar to what we did earlier. All we have to do is just basically add more email addresses here. Okay? So kani imuhang ginatanaw, kanitong ginatanaw karon, mao nitong list na ginistoryahan ni Jamal ganina. So again, ang atong assumption karong hapon, the list has been pre-populated. Gibutangan nag-values and then mag-try lang tag-add po og panibagong value just so we get to see how we can actually change the content of the sheet, no? So sige daw, mangayo kog laing volunteers kisa tong mga wala pa naka-participate ganina. I just needed 3 email addresses, perhaps Mr. Colango, okay, Mr. Delgado, and Mr. Nicolas. Please provide your email addresses diri sa ato ang chat box. Okay, and then I'll be, kaya naman lang na to ha. We have also have Mr. Colango. have Mr. Delgado. Okay. I hope di ko masayop. John Christopher Delgado. So, the rest of the columns, ako na lang ibase sa kung saan na-address. So, kintahay daw, I'll include this last column. Only ang kay, I press the wrong key. Ay, nako. Yun. And then for the rest of the newly added values, then muna siya ang discount. Now, the different column headers, we can actually change this one depende sa ato ang gikinahanglan. So, these are just examples. So, if you think you needed more columns so that you can actually specify more details to your email, then please feel free to add columns. If you wanted to remove columns or change the existing columns, please feel free to do that, except for 2 columns. Okay? Dili na to tandugon si recipient and si email sent, because in the script, which you can see somewhere here, these 2 column headers are actually considered constant. Okay, so as much as possible, we do not change those column headers. Why? Mao man niya naka-indicate dire. So if we wanted to change that one, so for example, kung gusto na ko ni pulihan o kani, these particular columns, then I will have to also replace what is specified here because it should match. Mao nang ginaingon ako nga ayaw na lang hilabti because that will require you to change some things here. Which is, I believe you don't want to do that. So, the rest of the columns, you are very much free to change, like last name, pulihan yung family name, first name, given name. Bahala na mo. Basta, as much as possible, just do not replace these 2 column headers, si recipient and si email sent. Alright? Importante na sila, kaya na sila yung kilalaman sa actual na pag-send na tuon niya sa email. Okay, so far, we are done populating our list, assuming na maora gyud ni ang list na ato ang gikinahanglan, no? But you could imagine already na sa actual na list, of course, there are more entries to your table. Okay, daghan pa pwede makitaan din ha. Sa karon, for demonstration purposes, this will actually do. Now, done with our second step, ingon siya dire, create a draft message in your Gmail account using markers like a pair of 2 curly braces, okay, which will basically be used as our placeholder. So, medyo naka-ready na po da because I have demonstrated this earlier. We have created this one. So, this is my subject line. This is about your, and then I will refer to the description. This is my actual message. So, hi, then I would want to customize the name. So, when you receive your email, especially the 3 students I have enlisted in Google Sheets, you will have to see your first name appearing here. Okay, so this email is sent to let you know of your, then depending on your description, amounting to depending on your discount amount. Okay, so what's missing at the moment is our recipient. So just like what we do to add placeholders for our fields, siguro na magbutang og recipients. Asa nagikuha ang recipients? The same column header. Okay, it's just recipient. So ato ang tanggalon si S. Otherwise, di na sila mag-match. Okay, so draft is already saved. So we can just close this one and then go back to our Google Sheets. So what to do now? You can click on, bitaw kung sakto na ba ito ang kuan so far. Okay, done with this one. So in the copied spreadsheet, click on custom menu, item, mail merge, and then click send mail. So let's follow that. Mail merge, send mails. Okay, so with the assumption that this is the first time Google Sheet is sending email to the following email addresses, mangayo siya authorization. So, kinahanglan na to i-continue. No? So, ayaw kayo kabalaka, if you have observed, gikuha na to siya sa mismong page ni Google developers. Therefore, there is some sort of guarantee nga dili gyud ni siya kanang fraudulent nga page, no? Legit siya na page kay if dautan pa ni siya, Google would not allow it to appear in their page. So ayaw kabalaka, you just continue clicking on this one. No, to specify lang nimo ang katong account. And then you click allow. Basically, that's just establishing the authorization. Wala pa nahitabong pag-send. So all you have to do is repeat the process. Click mail merge, click send mails, and then this is where you will have to recall the subject line that you use in your draft. So, balikan ni mo imong draft, mo man yang ato ang specific na gikuan, no? So, I will have to copy this one because I'll be needing this in that particular field. So, mo na iyang murag ilhanan of the many drafts that you have, tan-awon niya ang imuhang subject line, and then kung kinsa to na subject line ang nagmatch sa imuhang gi-specify didto, okay? Mao pud to iyang pangitaon. So, this is about your in the description. I'll click OK. So, running script. Yeah, as soon as it finishes, therefore, expected na to ma-send na ang email. So, ningon siya finish script, and then mapansin na to under email sent na column na ay ni-appear diri nga murag date and time stamp, no? So, it's dated April 21, 2021. That's correct. Though na alay murag gamayng problema sa time. It's actually reading 9:22 when it's already 4:22 in the afternoon. But nevertheless, na ay entry din nga nadungag, therefore it's safe to assume that the emails were actually sent. So gentlemen, Mr. Nicolas, Mr. Colango, and Mr. Delgado, will you please check your respective email and see for yourself if you really received that email. Yeah, muhangyo na lang pug ko. If you could do it, Mr. Colango. I'll be ending my screen sharing. Please share to the class your screen, and then tanawon na to unsay dagway sa email as you have received it. Okay, Mr. Colango, please feel free to share your screen whenever you are ready. Okay, thank you, Mr. Delgado, for confirming. Mr. Nicolas, thank you. Okay, so ang mag-demo na lang atong ginapaabot. Okay, let's see. Nadawat ba ni Mr. Colango? Okay, pa-zoom ko gamay, Mr. Colango, if okay lang. Just so the message is displayed clearer. And then, pakitanggal ko aning, sige, okay ra, scroll up man dahil mo. So, makita ninyo, no, in the draft, everything was not filled yet. Na yung mga placeholders na itong i-indicate. Like, for example, the first name. Pag abot sa atong recipient, makita nimo nga, nag-reflect na gid ang ilang individual na details. So, niingon diha, hi, Blood Ryan. This email is sent to let you know of your discount on Google Apps script books amounting to $23. Please let me know if you want to know more. So, for each recipient that we have actually added to that list, they will be receiving the same message. Pero, as you can see, it's in a way personalized. Kaya ilahang pangalan lang ilang makita, and then tanawon nimo sa kanang to, just beneath the email address who sent the email, imuharang email imo makitaan. So mura bag In a way, you would feel really, in a way, murag makaingon you would feel special kay ikaw ra may gisenda, dili man sa kanang send to many. Though in reality, send to many good ang nahitabo. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Kulango, for sharing your screen. So that basically is our second approach. Naabay pangutana, nasundan to nato tanan.
Yes, sir.
Alright, sige. Na-question si Mr. Pieta, Sir, unsa gani ang recipient? Which particular? Asa na recipient atong gini-istoryahan? Katong sa Gmail na atong gibutang? Okay. The recipient is actually in reference to that recipient column header. Kani. So instead of specifying the email addresses manually, gitawag na lang nato ang column header. So that's why you get to see in this particular draft, dito sa 2, imbis na ikaw pa magmano-mano butang og email addresses, you just make use of the same symbol and then specify the column header, which is based dito sa ato ang Google Sheet that's actually recipient. Okay, so paki-check lang daw sa spelling if you are perhaps basin na alay na dungag na unnecessary white space or na ay na-omit. It has to match with the recipient that you have in your Google Sheet. Not unless gipulihan po nimo ang recipient nga column header dito sa Google Sheets. If wala to nimo gitandog, then it should actually work. Ang uban ba, were you able to actually do it? Wala nag-error sa inyo ha? Si Mr. Prieto lang ba ang nai-problema? Sige daw, please let me know. Were you able to successfully do it? Okay, hello? Naapa mo? Are you still hearing me? Okay, nag-notify Ms. Villaflores nga na-send ang email. Okay, so kung kaila lang to nimo ang imong gipang-sendan, siguro pwede nimo ma-verify sa ila manually. You can ask them if they have received. Okay, importante lang as of the moment is that nasundan niyo tong steps. Ang pag-validate whether nadawat nila or wala, you can have that later siguro. Ang uban, kumusta? Walay problema? Na-send ba inyo ang mga emails? Okay, sige, I assume silence means yes, na-send ninyo to siya. So, kamo na lang bahala mag-validate ha. Please confirm to your email recipients if na-send ba yun nila tuod. Mr. Prieto, kumusta? Na-resolve na ba ang issue? Asa banda na ay problema? Did you specify the correct subject line? Kung unsa to imong gi-specify dito sa imong draft, that should be the same subject line that you will be specifying in that pop-up window. Okay, for a while, I'll be showing you my screen para ma-recall nimo. Pa-confirm ko if makita nimo ako ang screen. Okay, so di ba nag-come up tag draft? So if I open the draft, this is what it would look like. Sa karon, missing na pud to balik si recipient dire because we just basically opened it again. So asa man ang subject line? Kani. Next to the recipient is your subject line. So all you have to do is copy everything. Okay, mao magud ni ang murag ilhanan niya later on which of the different drafts you've created is the one will be used in sending the email. So gikopya to na to ha, whatever is in that subject line of yours, kopya ha. And when you click on that send mail, which is mo ni mo makita andere, pag pangayoon na to niya tong subject line, then you just have to paste that one and then proceed. Now that should do the trick. Tapos ang imong ilhanan, Mr. Prieto, pag once magka-value tong last column, especially if nani mo appear nga date and time, then that basically tells us that you were able to actually send those emails. Okay na? I see. Okay, sige. So I hope na figure out na nimo Mr. Prieto unsaon siya. Okay, if the error still persists, please just notify me so that ito ang matanawan balik. If okay na siya, then that's good. Now, na-question sa uban? Are you still with me? Okay, so I think naapaman gihapon na ako mga estudyante. So, upadayon ko. So far, ang ato ang gi-cover is email marketing, no? So, if you could still remember earlier as I showed you the content of this notepad, email marketing is only one component or one strategy that we have. Napapud tayo social media marketing. So, I'll just have a very quick run through of what social media marketing is. Though na naman may idea and para bag maisip na ninyo, pag may social media marketing, it's similar to email marketing, only that this time, it's not email that we will use, but social media. Okay, so I will be showing you a slides presentation. This is very quick. Okay, so nanata sa atong ikaduhang strategy ha. What we will be tackling now is social media marketing. Okay, so as you can see in the title of the slide, incorporating social media into your marketing strategy. So in this lecture, wala tayo i-highlight good nga specific multimedia. Because everything that we will tackle here can be applied to any social media platform you are familiar with. No, very generic man siya. So, wala mo i-expect sa ko nga mag-open ko og particular social media platform and then apply it to those platforms. I'll just have to provide inputs on how you can actually use your social media as a marketing strategy. So what are our goals for this afternoon? So I hope at the end of our discussion, you become familiar with marketing through social media applications. So that's basically all about social media marketing. And then identify parts of a social media strategy. And then identify social media online tools and applications. And then lastly, develop a social media marketing plan. Okay. So what is social media? It's something that you are very much familiar with, no? So dili na gyud necessary na to nga i-dwell pa na to ning a slide. Okay? So think of social media as how you would normally think of social media. Maraming gihapon ang ato ang ginapasabot ana dire. Okay? Now, the following questions are questions you can actually ask yourself. Okay? This will help you decide whether you are really into using your social media platforms in marketing. Okay, mo na nga, ang pinakamurag question diya sa ibabaw, are you ready for social media? And then ay mga underlying questions like, are your customers likely to be online? Okay? Are you ready to handle negativity? How will you incorporate this into people's daily jobs or daily lives? How will you measure the results? How long are you willing to give it a try? And what's your willingness to experiment, take risks, and adjust your plans? Now, if all your answers to these questions pertain to you being ready for social media, then you are actually on the right track. Okay? So, what could possibly be your goals? Siyempre, importante nga na ay goals, no? Importante nga na ay tumong ang imuhang pagbuhat sa mga bagay-bagay. So, just like what we would normally do, okay? So, ang pag-perform og social media marketing or ang paggamit sa social media as a marketing strategy should be rooted to a goal or a set of goals. Okay? So, ang matag individual, whether ikaw ang tag-iya, ikaw ang virtual assistant nga murabag represent sa kumpanya or kung kinsa man ka nga nakikinalaman sa unsay decision making na pwede buhatan sa kumpanya, you have to have that goal, no? So unsay mga possible goals mao na nakalista diya sa tubangan. Yeah. Of the many goals that are enlisted in front, naay murag two common kaayo nga unsa tawag na two common goals na atong gina-expect. Perhaps, no, to increase your customer base or to increase your reach, mas daghan kag matandog na mga tao, meaning mas daghan makaila sa imuha. That's basically what increased customer base translates into. And ikaduha, mudaghan imuhang kita or madungagan imong kita. Okay, di necessarily mudaghan, but is mudungagan imuhang kita. So mo na gid nagpaluyo sa tanan. Okay? But there can also be other goals na pwedeng wala dito sa duha natong gi-mention like kanang third to the last, educate customers. Okay? So bahalag dili mo palit, bahalag wala kayo kay makuha sa iya na value, pero kay imuha man siyang natudloan, nya kanang iya imuhang pagtudlo magamit niya na in the long run, then that's also another goal that you can actually have. Now, the following are parts of social media strategy. So, wala nagpasabot nga social media na something that we are accustomed to using. Diretso na po mo shift, no? Diretso na kagamit sa social media. You have to actually consider several factors. Okay? So, isa-isahon nato na ng mga factors. Number 1, you have to identify your goals. And in setting up goals, you have to be smart. Okay? And the goal should be smart. Pag may tag SMART, this acronym actually refers to your goal being specific, being measurable, being attainable, being relevant, and being timely. So, di na siguro kinahanglan pa og elaboration, no? I believe these terms are quite self-explanatory. Basta ang tumong is, ang imuhang goal is something na kaya gid pud nimo siya ma-achieve over the course of time. Okay, kaya gid siya buhaton. It has to be smart. Now, in terms of your target market or your possible customers, you have to actually get to know them, no? Before pa man ka mag-perform og email blasting for you to be able to promote something, ilailaha sa nimo kinsa imo ang mga possible customers. Okay? So, unsa to mga underlying questions? Who are your customers? What characteristics do they have? What age group do they come from? What are their spending or shopping habits? Do they shop online? What social media applications are they using? The last question is a more important one because it kind of help you decide asa ka na social media platform magstay. Okay? So, proceed to sa ato ang next slide. We have profile or brand. So, creating a profile or brand is basically establishing a name. No? It's not easy, pero yeah, you'll eventually get there. Okay? So, appeal na pod sa unang-naon nimo. Okay, part sa human profile and your brand, you are actually to come up with a screen name. Something that will basically point to your product or your service. Something that is catchy. Okay, something that makes sense and na-appeal, no? And then with the screen name that you have to be consistent nga in all the platforms that you intend to use. There should be consistency. And by consistency, atong pasabot, if ang imuhang gi-decidean nga screen name is ingon ani, it should be consistent among the different social media platforms you will be using. Okay, nya. Appeal na pud usahay sa pag-create og profile or brand ang kanang ganing mga multimedia materials like posters. Okay? So, basically, ingon, ana. Okay? Creating a profile and a brand. Okay. We also have to decide on the appropriate social media applications. So, mabitaw to ganina sa ato ang identify your target market, you will have to ask, okay? Do they shop online, especially if your business has something to do with selling products? And what social media applications are they using? So, sa ato pong gihatag na examples ganina na ay mahilig jud sa a particular color, regardless kung insa ang nagbuhat, no? So, you can stick to that one. Basta kay ang point is, aside sa imuhang screen name, you will have to have something na mo point gyud dito sa imuhang brand. So, a logo, a poster, even a landing page to your website that can be counted as your profile or brand. Okay? Sa pagpili sa appropriate social media applications, katong question nato diri ganina. What social media applications are they using? So kung ang imong target market, imo nang na-identify niya, they are into, for example, Instagram, then choose Instagram as your primary platform. Nga naman, kung sa di ang tumong nimo nga nag-market ka, di ba? To reach more people and then hopefully to be able to sell your product or your service. Okay? So kung kabalo ka nga ang imong mga prospect clients or ang imong clients yun mismo nasa Instagram nagstay most of the time, then utilize that platform. Make the most of their time in that tool para imo silang ma-convince to continue doing business with you. Okay, we also have planned the time frame. Very important because you would want to actually see to it that you can finish everything at a given period of time. Though medyo challenging lang na kay along the way plans may be or can be changed, especially kung wala na ganit kay choice. The only thing that you can change is that, then there is actually a high probability of changing or changes to happen. Pero as much as possible, if you have already identified the time frame, giset na po rin nimo. Unsa lang may trabahoon, ani nga time of the day, ani nga time of the week. Okay, katong mga dili matrabaho, basin pwede to sa lainan, gahinan na po og laing higayon. Okay, so nga na ang siste. Okay, so we have to plan the time frame. Now, you also have to recognize the possibility of your plans not being pushed through. Okay? Again, tungod kay naakay napakay mga complications gani. No nga naay kalit lang na nahitabo and then it actually made you work on that and leave your output supposedly waiting. So, mabihind yung ka sa imong schedule. So, igo lang siguro nimo easy to it nga. Kung nag-set ka nga na mga schedules, you can. Lastly, we have, this is not the last, I think this is second to the last. Develop a content strategy plan. So, sa ato anang gi-mention ganina, no? Dili tungod kay social media ni siya, we are accustomed to using our social media apps or platforms, dali ra kay ni siya. Remember that you are not representing yourself, but instead you are representing the brand. So, everything should be actually part as planned, no? Okay, so you are to actually develop a plan for creating this or this type of content. Develop a plan for getting the content published. So there has to be clear policies onto the things that you will be doing. Okay? And then measure progress towards goals. Basically, ang gusto ito may balaan din nag-meet ba ang ato ang giset nga goal o ang ato ang progress? Presrago na namin yung ka nga, mag-lose ko og 10 kilos. Muna imong giset na goal. So, nakalabay ang mga pila ka semana, nagtimbang ka balik, check nimo, how much did I lose? Okay, if it's something beyond your lowest point before, then you're getting thinner. If it's the opposite, then you are actually not making so much progress. And some examples of social media that you can actually explore. Mga sila. Okay, and then the conversations are happening. Are you ready? Are you willing to listen? So when you decide in the future that you wanted to really become a virtual assistant that will be working on marketing, particularly in social media marketing, maybe you can revisit these questions and ask these questions back to yourself and then try to answer them. No? So kung andam na ka, then padayon. Okay? So that ends our presentation. Naklaro ba so far? Unsa si social media marketing, how different it is with email marketing? Okay, walay questions? Nakasunod ba ta dito sa ato ang gi-discuss? Klaro ang difference ni email marketing and social media marketing? Klaro ang lain-lain na approach depende asa diri sa duha imuhang buhaton or pilion? Okay, sige. So, at the end of the day these strategies, whether they share some similarities or they are actually exactly different, same ra na sila goal in mind. Again, for you to be able to market, to advertise, to promote, and sell your products and services. So, asa man din na imong gamiton, it should help you reach that ultimate destination of selling your product or your services to your clients. Okay, sige. So kung wala na ipangutana, we will be ending our presentation here. Okay, so for the rest of the period, since you still have about 1 hour, kamo na bahala asa ninyo na gamiton. I won't be asking you for anything this afternoon. Break lang usata, no? Rest if you must. Okay, take a break if you want. Bawi ta next week, no, in terms of trabahoon. So karon, please feel free to enjoy the luxury of time you have. At least ang kanang 1 hour lang na ako Okay? So I will be seeing you again on our next meeting. That will be Monday next week. Hopefully, we get to cover again as much as we could before mag-end ang ato ang midterm. Okay? Mas daghan tag makover, mas maayo. And then, kato akong gi-promise po sa inyo nga I'll be inviting some industry practitioners. So pag abot atong a specific topic, trust me, there will be someone who will be sharing based on sa ilang actual experience. Sa karon, kita-kita lang usa. Okay? So you are all dismissed. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, sir.